Hello and welcome to this week's Bump Date. This week we're going to be talking all about your hormones and what you can do to actually impact them and make your labor smoother. My name is Lara Proud, registered nurse and prenatal educator. Check it out. Okay, so very first thing, we don't know our hormones that well. Unless you have studied them, unless you have really kind of gotten into that and are super interested, you likely know the words for a lot of them, but you may not know exactly how it is that they work on your body, how they're impacting you, and what it is that you can do to actually change the impact on your body throughout your pregnancy and through your labor. The goal here is to understand them so you are able to actually change them, manipulate them, and make sure that they are in an optimal position to be able to help you deliver your baby as smoothly and effectively as possible. All right, so right off the bat, I'm sure that you have heard of progesterone. So progesterone is a hormone that actually increases throughout your pregnancy. The purpose of it is to actually act on your uterus to make sure that the smooth muscles of your uterus, so the muscles the whole way around it, are not having contractions. As baby gets bigger, it actually puts more stress on your cervix, which causes an increase in stress hormone, which puts pressure on that cervix from baby's head as well, and actually starts to increase the release of estrogen. Estrogen is a hormone that we hear about all the time, but what it actually does in the labor process is it actually works to counteract progesterone. So estrogen is responsible for preparing the smooth muscle to make contractions, and it's actually doing this by increasing the amount of receptors for oxytocin that are found along the uterine lining. It also is responsible for helping to coordinate the contractions. So this basically means instead of having kind of erratic contractions all the time at different intervals, the estrogen is actually going to work to try and make them more timeable. You know how you hear people saying, like, my contractions are 5 minutes apart, my contractions are 2 minutes apart. Estrogen is working to make that happen. So near the end of pregnancy, as your progesterone levels are kind of starting to drop and your estrogen levels are starting to increase, your estrogen levels are actually going to be counteracting some of that progesterone, and you may find that you are experiencing more of what are called Braxton Hicks contractions. These Braxton Hicks contractions are certainly not useless, and they're not early labor. They're a completely different thing, and basically what it is your uterus is trying to prepare and tone up and really start to exercise those muscles to get ready for real labor. Another really important hormone to understand that is there is relaxin. Now, relaxin gets a really bad rap for trying to like relax everything and do all these things, but the purpose of relaxin is to actually open and relax your pubic symphysis. So your pubic symphysis is actually this area right here. So this is the area in between, if you actually take a step out of the car with one leg further than the other, this is what's going to be impacted right there. And what happens is relaxin actually helps to open that area up and make it more mobile to make delivering your baby easier. Relaxin is also responsible in aiding in dilation and effacement. So basically your cervix opening and getting really nice and thin. Prostaglandins are another one that are released. So literally just having the pressure on the cervical membrane is going to start to release this prostaglandin hormone. Prostaglandins are also found in semen. It is something that is released as well when you are having a stretch and sweep. So basically just having the sweep, which actually is sweeping the membranes and creating a little bit of space between your water sac and the top of the cervix, that is going to release prostaglandins as well. Prostaglandins are going to help soften the cervix and are going to help it elongate. Now, a big player in labor, and if you have been around listening to me talk for any amount of time, you know that oxytocin is a huge one. Oxytocin is such a massive part of labor. Not only is it responsible for actually contracting your uterus, so it's what is making those contractions happen, but it's also a really big player in breastfeeding as well. Oxytocin can be impacted very, very quickly and very substantially by stress. So if you have heard me talk about that fear, tension, and pain cycle before, this is one of those things that you are going to want to do some prep ahead of time. Watching your stress hormones, getting that baseline of your stress down as low as possible in pregnancy is going to be a really big help for you when you're coming up to your labor. Because basically what ends up happening is the higher your stress levels, the higher your cortisol level is, it's going to impact the amount of oxytocin that's going to be able to be released. So oxytocin is actually released in the brain. It is sent down to your body to be able to start having contractions. It's released in these pulses, which is why you get these waves of contractions that happen. In early labor, your body wants to protect itself. That is a really, really common thing. Just like a cat is going to kind of go into a dark, warm, soft space to be able to give birth, humans are actually very similar to that as well. And doing that is putting you into this kind of protected state, which helps your body to feel calm, relaxed, rested, cared for, and safe. All of these emotions immediately impact the amount of oxytocin that you're able to release. Oxytocin is also referred to as your love hormone. So when you are very affectionate with someone, it's immediately going to release that. This is going to be able to help make your labor faster, your contractions more effective. If baby's in a really good spot, it can help dilate really quickly. There are so many good benefits, but the background work has to be done. There's a lot of mindset work that has to be done. There's positions that you can do to aid in this and really make it very helpful to be able to continue to go along with increasing your labor, making it faster, making it smoother, and making it really go very well for you. All of these things kind of come into play, but actually having the opportunity to balance them out by allowing oxytocin to do its job, the prostaglandins can do its job, then the estrogen can do its job, and then the progesterone can do its job. There's so much, everything ties together. It is so important for you to be able to set yourself up for as much success as possible. And in a lot of cases, that literally starts with just doing some mindset work and some relaxation. I hope you found this helpful. Tune in next week for some more information.